Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 or visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
You are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
We're back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the first 30 minutes of the next hour, I'm going to get back into this top story. We're going to read through some of the Obama administration advisors and officials saying back in July, we need a big terror attack by a domestic group or by Muslims or the threat of one as a pretext to clamp down on the American people and to have folks basically worship Obama and see him as strong. And Michael Savage has even come out and said he believes that the Obama people may stage false flags. So it's not just Alex Jones talking about this. We have these very individuals out in the open getting to all of this. And we have this ABC News report, Utah residents fear Israeli art students prying into NSA data center. And they're reporting that they keep coming to people's doors in and around the new facility, saying they're art students, trying to sell them art, but then asking them if they know about the NSA facility. And that's because then if somebody says, yeah, I work there, or my husband does, they can pump them for info or even pay them. That's how on-the-ground infiltration works. And right before 9/11, and it gets into the AP and Salon articles about this, there were all these Israeli art students penetrating the DEA offices, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, and other law enforcement agencies. This is out of Raw Story, but it's local ABC News affiliate ABC4 with Brent Hunsaker reporting on it. And then we have this report that a listener pointed out of a regular coal-powered plant. Effingham deputies call feds after arresting Russians with shovel wire cutters outside Georgia power plant. And we've got this up on prisonplanet.tv, their mugshots. If you scroll down, you can see these guys. I mean, they look like Special Forces spy types. They do not look like your regular tourist. I mean, they've got spook written all over them. Just look at those eyes. Just look at these guys. Young Special Forces types. And the feds ordered them released. And same thing with the Israelis in other cases. But speaking of that, here's the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. Pennsylvania Homeland Security Chief quits. And we're going to be discussing that now with State Representative from Pennsylvania, Daryl Metcalfe, who's organized a Second Amendment rally, Tea Party, lower tax rallies. They got surveilled by this Israeli company that admits they're Mossad connected. They were paid $125,000 to spy on his group. And they've now had state Homeland Security hearings on this. And the head of Homeland Security, a former federal Homeland Security individual with the U.S. Special Forces, has resigned over this. And there's criminal investigations, civil investigations. The media is reporting. Again, Pennsylvania Homeland Security Chief quits. Here's another one. Second Amendment group made terror threat list in Pennsylvania. Cranberry lawmaker asked why his rallies made terror list. That's Daryl Metcalfe. House to vote on Stand Your Ground gun bill today. We'll also get his take on that interesting Second Amendment legislation in Pennsylvania. But remember, this is going on all over the country. And it's not just Israelis. It's British. It's others. And this country's wide open for foreigners to come in and spy on us. But if you, as a citizen, spied on people like this, you'd be arrested for wiretapping. Daryl Metcalfe is recognized by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette as Pennsylvania's General Assembly's #1 conservative and multi-time highest-ranking lawmaker on the Pennsylvania Liberty Index. He also heads up state legislators for legalimmigration.com. He's the founder. And he joins us. He represents District 12. Good to have you here with us again, sir.
Good to be with you again, Alex. Thanks for having me today.
Well, a lot has happened. Recap what originally was discovered, what you've since discovered in the hearings, and where all of this is going.
Right. It came out some time back that this Institute of Terrorism Research and Response that admits on their website that connections with Israeli defense, that they were actually contracted by the Pennsylvania Homeland Security and were issuing bulletins regarding events that were taking place or planned around the state of Pennsylvania. As that information became public and more details were made available, we became aware that a couple of the rallies that I organized, both for Second Amendment and also for taxpayers to voice their concerns about increased spending and increased taxes in the state of Pennsylvania, were two events that were listed in these bulletins that they were looking at as far as elevating the possible a chance of having some terrorist activity occurring. So when this became evident and became reported on more and more, the Senate called for hearings out of their Senate Veterans Affairs Emergency Preparedness Committee. Senator Baker chaired that hearing last Monday, and I had one of my staff at the hearing. I live about 4 hours from Harrisburg. I wasn't at the hearing in the morning on Monday before our session started, but I had one of my staff there, and it was very evident from the testimony that was given from the Pennsylvania State Police, the director of the Homeland Security here in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania State Homeland Security Department, and also our PEMA, the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Association, that there was conflicting testimony given. The state police seemed to strongly disagree with information that was being put forth by the director of our Homeland Security here in Pennsylvania at that time and by PEMA, that they, in fact, had told the governor's office that they were on top of any dangers to Pennsylvanians. And during that time, Director Powers moved forward with contracting this Israeli-connected company, the Institute of Terrorism Research and Response. They tried to claim that the state police said they didn't have the resources to take care of dealing with those types of threats that would be notified through this institute. The state police disagreed with that testimony. So, as things percolated through the week last week, I had sent a letter the week prior asking a series of questions to the director of our Homeland Security in Pennsylvania as to what was done with this information. Was surveillance launched on the rallies that I had participated in and had organized, actually? Were wiretaps initiated? If so, by on whom? Were any of the people involved with working with me on these rallies a target of their surveillance? Was I a target of their surveillance? We've since that time worked with our legal counsel to draft right-to-know requests that will be filed this week, and our Homeland Security director here in Pennsylvania announced his resignation last Friday. The governor of Pennsylvania seems to still stand by the director of that department, even though he claims he wasn't standing by these bulletins or the contracting of this company. But if he, in fact, didn't agree with this, he should have fired the director instead of letting the director weasel out of his role here by resigning last week. I think there's still questions that have to be answered by PEMA. There's still questions that should be investigated by our Attorney General and by the state police regarding what was done here that infringed upon the rights of law-abiding citizens in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, let's boil this down. You've got this Homeland Security head of the state, State Homeland Security Director James F. Powers, Jr., and you've got all these other individuals not wanting to release more information on exactly what's happening in the state. But bottom line, we know an Israeli company was out there spying on political groups across the board, and all of this needs to be released at least to the state committees, and I think there needs to be a criminal investigation.
I would agree, and I think the state police had testified that due to these bulletins that were being issued through the Pennsylvania Homeland Security, that they ended up chasing fires around, and that it was irresponsible reporting. That in fact this institute was not vetting the information that they were releasing properly. That they were very irresponsible in the way that they were releasing the information to local law enforcement around Pennsylvania, and just such a irresponsible way that they were trying to actually take care of what they were contracted for, when even the initial contract should have been under question, that they would actually contract someone that would start to launch these types of
well, number one, this is secret police activity and smacks of East Germany or Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany or Maoist China. But if it's going to be going on, it's one thing if it's the state police, because they're accountable to the legislature and they're from here. But when you find out then it's foreign groups doing it, and Israel's got this big history of espionage in the U.S., and the ADL and others caught infiltrating police departments in the past. Clearly, this is an infiltration operation, but the federal Homeland Security is fully infiltrated, so this seems to be par for the course. And now we have ABC News 4 and others out of Utah reporting that the Israeli art students have popped back up, asking about the NSA center being built in the area, in the neighborhoods around it, trying to get HUMAT on the ground. I mean, look, I'm no rocket science when it comes to intelligence and counterintelligence, but this is classical infiltration going on, and it's coming from a law enforcement perspective. I mean, this is amazing.
Well, it's just, and the infiltration was fully embraced by officials here in Pennsylvania and our state government that were appointed